What's up, everybody? It is the Dark Conservatarian. Hope you all are staying warm out there as this national blizzard is just ransacking throughout this country and causing a few power outages. Well, actually, some of those power outages, some of those rolling blackouts, as they are being called, are man-induced, but there is a certain. But anyway, that's going to be part of the news that we are talking about today. But first of all, you read the title right. According to a certain hateful retard, all white people, yes, literally all white people are racist, apparently. And other news on top of that as well. But for right now, let's take a look at what the chat says here. Uh, hello, everybody in the chat. We got a little bit of quite an audience right here so far. Hello, Set111000, Reckless Trucker, and True Grave. Nice for you to join the program again, True Grave. The white man stole my bike, says Reckless Trucker. And True Grave says, I heard a rumor you're gay. Is there any truth to that? Well, Aircraft Sparky did kind of make the comment on air that the aesthetic that I put on here is pretty gay, so I guess if you were to ask Aircraft Sparky, he might say yes. But yes, I'm gay, True Grave. I'm gay, and that I am feeling in a pretty happy and positive mood right now. Oh, wait, no, that's not the type of gay that you meant right now? You meant, am I homosexual? No. No, I don't have any attraction to dick. Anyway, Chucker, I still so much more for you, he says to Trucker. Reckless Trucker says, clearly fake news, like Hunter Biden's relationship with underage China's. True Grave says, well, you see, Chinese are Asians and Asians are white, and we all know you can't be racist to white people. And Reckless Trucker says, rolling blackouts are racist. Right? True Grave says, the full communist circle. What the fuck is on your face, says True Grave. This is a blackout face shield from SA Gear. Blackout American blackout American flag face shield from SA Gear. It actually keeps my face quite warm very well, or fairly well anyways, in the cold weather that we have right now. But I also have it for the aesthetic of the show. So screw it. Mr. Merchant says, I'm gay. DarkCon out of context. Yes. Let the memes flow, y'all. But anyway, so to put aside the live chat for a little bit, as I have a feeling that is going to be pretty active as we move along here. Let's see if I have anybody. No, I do not have anybody joining me on the podcast right here. Hey, Reckless Trucker, get your hillbilly ass in here, motherfucker. I sent you the link I sent the link on Discord in general on the group chat that you are in. But if you can't, well then I guess that's cool too. If you're just merely listening in, well then that's cool enough contribution too, I guess. Sorry I'm late. Did I miss anything? Says JC. No. Reckless Trucker says he's driving in the snow. Probably safest for you to not join then, Trucker. I understand. And no, JC, you did not miss anything. I was just giving introductions to everybody and saying hello and whatnot. Anyway. So I guess I'm alone in responding to this. This is a Medium article, and as I understand, Medium is just pretty much a blog posting website where literally anybody of any political opinion can go ahead and post their opinions on. Most of the time, or at least more of the time, I see left-leaning opinions being posted on Medium as opposed to right-leaning opinions. But all the same, I do not think that the website itself has an overall bias in the same way of CNN or Politico or places like that, where they actively hire people for their writing. But Medium is more open forum. Anyway. So, yes, my dear, all white people are racists. This is by Marley K. Marley. What's that movie? It's Marley and Me. Marley and Me. That's right. This is the dog that Owen Wilson owned during the movie of Marley and Me, apparently. No. Off the bat, just looking at the title alone, you can see that it is so laughably stupid to where that you can pretty much dismiss it. But I just thought, hey, I'm gonna feature this on the program just to poke fun at it because why not? And also, to add a little bit more context, look at the date here, folks, of when it was posted. June 6th of 2020. Now, You have heard it probably plenty of times before, as well as I have, that lots of people have said, "Oh, SJWs are no longer a threat. They practically no longer exist. They've been defeated since 2016 or even 2017. Blah blah blah." When really, this is a very recent posting right here, and SJWs, intersectional feminists, wokesters, whatever the fuck that you want to call them, yeah, they seem to still be fairly well alive and kicking. At least looking at this article as it is just recently posted, and it has 13,200 claps on it. And I think if I understand the system of Medium correctly, claps are basically you giving basically an upvote to that article. Now, the stupid thing about Medium's system is that one single person can give multiple claps, like literally up to 50 claps. Or at least that's what I get implied from Rational Outlaw whenever he goes saying, go read my Medium articles and give me 50 claps on every one of them and whatnot, which honestly, in my opinion, I think it's an absolutely stupid system. And yes, I said what I said on that front, Rational Outlaw. One person, multiple ratings. You don't even have to create a bot account. Like, yeah, on other social medias, you can create bot accounts to give multiple ratings to a single piece of media or whatever. But all the same, you don't even need to create a bot account. Just one person, multiple votes. So it might not be 13,000 people that are approving of the shit that is said in this article. But all the same, it's still a bit of evidence that SJWs, or whatever we want to call them, intersectional feminists, are still alive and kicking with this white guilting bullshit. So that's why we're here. First, learn what racism is and what it's not. I need white people. Let's see. If I was to pull out the definition, like I remember reading up the definition, and basically it's thinking that you are superior, that your own race is superior over other races. Just as a baseline right there, or withholding a belief that that you think that your own race is superior to that over other races. I guess technically you could apply it in the same way of people thinking that other races that A aren't necessarily associated with, like a person of race A could think that race B is superior to race C. I guess you could theoretically count that as racist as well, but that's not what really the definition is, at least not that I read anyways. I need white people to understand that all white people are racist. No, you don't need white people to understand that all white people are racist, quote unquote. Your ego just wants, your ultra sensitive ego just wants, desires white people to think that they are all racist, because apparently you're just a miserable bitch. And as the one good proverb said, misery loves company. And what's the best way to have company other than to make other people admit to themselves, yes, I'm a piece of shit, I'm racist. Anyway, admit it and let's move on to the business of repair. Admit it and let's move on to the business of repairing and healing the country. We can't do it without you. No, because there's nothing to admit, bitch. Because there's nothing to admit. I mean, whose mind are you reading to say that literally all white people are racist? Do you know their beliefs? Do you know the beliefs and opinions of every single white person out there in the world? If not, well then, what is there that you think there is to admit? You're just asserting your own baseless, hateful, stupid-ass opinion. Yes, my dears, all white people are racists. All, period, of, period, them, period. So she is going beyond that of what the ACAB crowd thinks. Like, ACAB means all cops are bastards or all cops are bad. Really? That's the one saying that is touted out by anti-coppers. I don't even think that they literally think that literally every single cop is bad or whatever. I mean, they might, I don't know. They might think that. I'm not for absolute certain. But I just give them the benefit of the doubt that they don't literally think that every single last one cop is a bad person. Just they think that generally they're all pretty bad. But she is not even generalizing. She's making the claim, the overreaching claim, that every single one of us, if I was to, because I am white, honestly, let's be honest here, folks, even though I'm wearing a bit of a black aesthetic here, um, saying that every single one of us is racist in spite of not really knowing our beliefs, or at least not everyone's beliefs. So, I'm going to read the chat here a little bit. Reckless Trucker says, I heard Parler is back, but the app is down still. I don't know exactly. True Grave says, I bet the article citing Power Plus prejudice is racism. Right. I don't even know where people are reading that definition. I mean, granted, the definition that I read of racism was from Merriam-Webster, and Merriam-Webster is kind of devolving their own credibility with the way that they've been changing up definitions of words in recent years. But all the same, as a baseline anyways, that's what I use for the definition of racism. When really, yeah, racism, you can be hateful towards somebody based off of their race in spite of whether or not that you have power. To say otherwise is just asinine. At best, stupid at worst. With all those periods she used, you'd think she wasn't on hers, says Reckless Tucker. Maybe. So anyway. Here is where you stop to cry, clutch your pearls, rant and rave aloud to tell me how I am wrong. Well, my first reaction when I had read your title when it was shared on my Discord server was actually absolute hilarious laughter to your stupidity. I wasn't crying, I wasn't even really that angry. So you can take this opinion and shove it right up your cunt. But yes, you're damn right I'm ranting. I am responding, and I have the damn well right to respond to your stupidity. Thank you. And to tell me not all white people. I think that's a bit of an incomplete sentence, but I nitpick. Yes, but yes, not all white people are racist. I'm doing reverse racism. There's no such thing as reverse racism, which you are correct. There is no such thing as reverse racism. There is only such thing as racism. Philosophossum actually made a good point about how reverse racism is such an asinine talking point, and he articulated it better than I can right now. But the implication of reverse racism is like saying that racism has only one inherent direction, and for it to go any other direction, it's reverse. When really racism is not a one-directional thing that can be done. But you're right. There is no such thing as reverse racism, and you're right. I do think that you're racist. You are, ironically enough, racist for generalizing all people of a certain racial group that they are racist just because of their racial group that they fall into. That you are generalizing or even putting all people of that racial group as, this negative little trait that being racism, or racist rather. And you're ready to do tit for tat with me and every black person on the internet because you're too afraid to say this nonsense in person. I mean, I don't think I've had that many opportunities personally to say, yeah, not all white people are racist. But at the same time, I've never come across any black people really, in my personal life anyways, or let's not even just say black people. Let's say any non-white person. I've never come across any non-white person in my personal life who has literally said that literally all white people are racist. So, me personally, in my personal experience, they go talking about white privilege and whatnot, and that's pretty dumb in of itself, and we can have a conversation about that. But they haven't been this amount of hateful that you are showing yourself to be, Mrs. Marley K. But yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to respond to somebody in person. No, not all white people are racist. But if the opportunity did come across my plate, then you're damn right I would say to them, no, not all white people are racist. Or make some snarky remark to them saying, oh yeah, because you know the belief of every single white person in the world, in America and whatnot. But anyway, on how terrible, wait, what? And you're ready to do tit for tat with me and every black person on the internet because you're too afraid to say this nonsense in person on how terrible black people are. Oh, okay. I should have finished reading the sentence. Wasn't saying so much that you're ready to do tit for tat with a black person saying this sort of bullshit that no, not all white people are racist. She's saying you're ready to do tit for tat to say of how terrible black people are or pull up examples of terrible black people. Yada yada. I mean, yeah, we can throw anecdotes back and forth with each other, but really, I think that ultimately throwing anecdotes back and forth with each other would be kind of stupid and illogical. I mean, really, the way that you justify a generalization, as I've said multiple times throughout my time of politicking here on YouTube and the internet sphere, is that it needs to be a statistical majority that the XYZ group is doing XYZ action so that you can justify XYZ generalization on, that group. Really, that's the way that you justify it rather than anecdotes. But anyway, I have fill in the blank white person savior activity here. What? Okay. So I know I'm not racist. I don't say the N word. I go to church with black people, and I even go to lunch with the black lady guy from my job. I have a biracial child. I date black women slash men. Yeah, I mean that would be evidence that they are not racist. I mean, unless there is some other example of them expressing racism that would counterbalance that, and even sort of outbalance it enough. I mean, unless you have like that, it seems that no, yeah, those would be good examples of them not being racist. I mean, what do you want? I mean, this is a problem that I have with SJWs, intersectional feminists, and the like. Is that they seem to be setting up an impossible standard right here. You cannot prove yourself as being not racist by mentioning XYZ example of how that you interact and get along very well with people of other races. I mean, whenever you bring up them examples of yourself doing that or other white people doing that and so on and so forth, and they're just brushing it aside, or at least the more extreme cases of intersectional feminists and even black supremacists or black nationalists or any other sort of far leftists, anyways. They're just setting up an impossible standard to try and disprove it. I'm gonna read the article or the live chat here a little bit. Her timing was good though, to be honest, says Reckless Trucker. I'm not gonna read that, True Grave. As much as you want to be a black man, you are not. All right, True Grave. I don't personally look to be a black man, but okay. Reckless Trucker says racism is like ketchup. You can put it on anything. Oh, God. No. Except here's the thing. I hate ketchup. I don't put it on everything. I don't put it hardly on anything. I will tolerate it on some fast food burger if I'm like that desperate for some food, but I won't even put them on my French fries. That's how much I hate ketchup. Or dislike ketchup. I cannot say that I absolutely hate it as much as I do cucumbers, for example. The True Gray says the communists have been defining racism as power plus privilege for years now. Yep. Reckless Trucker says power plus privilege argument is just a reformation of the class argument for communists or communism. True Grave says literally it's from Chairman Mao. You can read it in his little red book. I'm sure I can. Or some other far left literature. Reckless Trucker says, ironic considering China is the most racist country since Nazi Germany. Pretty much. True Grave says, bitch, I'm not afraid to say anything to you. Call me when you have more than 150 in net worth. Net worth? I don't know. Hello, Scorch. How you doing? Scorch Volunteer says, hello, and you're a heathen. I love ketchup. Well, to each their own, Scorch. Reckless Trucker says, if white people of color exist, can people of color that are white exist? That is confusing, but okay. My husband / wife is black. I mean, if a person has married somebody of a different race and it's a functional relationship, let's add that too. That's solid evidence that they are not racist. Let's be real here, Marley. I work in an all-black fill in the blank setting. I am not racist. I'm liberal. I voted for Hillary. Well, who you vote for doesn't even inherently say as to whether or not that you're racist. I mean, there are different interpretations of what policy is racist or not. Sorry, but it's just the truth of the matter. And we have to like quibble over those. What policy do we define as racist? Can it definitively be called racist? White ethno states? Yeah, sure. That's racist. Calling for a white ethno state. If somebody was like literally voting for somebody who is proposing a white ethno state because they themselves want a white ethno state, well then yeah, sure, they're racist. But just if somebody was to vote for Donald Trump or anyone besides Hillary Clinton in 2016 or besides Joe Biden in 2020, then yeah, no, it's not automatically proof of racism. I use hashtag Black Lives Matter hashtags. Well, hashtag does not mean hardly jack dilly squat. I mean, if somebody doesn't disagree with the saying of, well, okay, it matters. A person can't say that Black Lives Matter without using the literal saying of Black Lives Matter. They could say something like, black people should be treated equally to white people. That's another way of putting it, and it's been said for years before Black Lives Matter was ever invented as a hashtag. I have a black friend that I never talked to about race. Fortunately for me, and unfortunately for you, I do have black friends, and I do talk to them about issues of race. So, shove it. I know, I've heard it all already, honey. I know, you are a product of your racist American environment. Oh, God. What racist American environment? And are they really, whatever racism that they come across, are they letting it influence them? That's the bigger question, too, for that matter. Like, even if somebody was raised in a quote-unquote racist environment, the question is, are they letting it influence their own thought patterns? That's the bigger, most important question, you dipshit. I mean, it kind of brings me back to the whole question of Illuminati conspiracy theorists talking about movies. Like, oh, this movie is teaching values that are not Christian, so therefore it's an Illuminati conspiracy theory agenda, whatever. Therefore, it is influencing people's minds to think anything other than of a Christian mindset. It's Illuminati propaganda, yada yada. I mean, even if it were true, the question is the person watching the movie letting that movie infect their mind, affect the way that they think about politics and religion and so forth? If not, well then they themselves do not become a product of that belief that has been tried to, been pushed upon them, whatever. Night Shift 10,000 says, illuminate stuff. Okay. Scorch says, I have a Native American wife and an Italian girlfriend. Awesome. Reckless Trucker says, I've never heard of it. Devout Nazi that married a Jew. Grave says, my ex is Native American. To God, how do you deal with her? My ex is Native American. To God, how do you deal with her? What? I think that might have been a little bit of a typo, Grave, but I don't know. Reckless Trucker says, I can't be racist. I own a giant black dildo. Oh, God. Scorch says, I had a friend where his grandparents was a Nazi and was married to a Jewish woman. Sent1 1000 says, as Morgan Freeman has said, the only way to stop racism is to stop talking about it. I mean, yeah, there is a bit of a point right there. Maybe I am perpetuating racism and the issue of racism just by merely talking about racism in a intended neutral fashion to people of other races. But ultimately, the issue of racism still exists, and it is still a bit of an issue that itches on my mind nonetheless, because I am engaged in the political sphere right now. So therefore, I feel like it is important for me to talk about it to gain some sort of context or thought-provoking conversation and so forth. Whatever side it be. I'm going to just move on a little bit because this live chat is going pretty fast. You are racist, love, but it's okay to admit it. The pretentious condescension. This is hilarious. It's so slappable right here. I'm ready for you to admit it so that we can move on to bigger things. You haven't proven anything, though. You haven't proven anything to admit, bitch. All you did was just espouse a whole bunch of examples of a person saying to you evidence as to how they're not racist, not evidence as to how they are racist. You deny you denying the obvious. Oh, wow. How is it obvious? You're not explaining anything. You're just asserting that it's obvious. You're not substantiating that claim. You're just being an idiot. Fucking numbskull. You denying the obvious stalls the wrong road to healing. Take a moment to sit with this new/old revelation. Your racism is a product of nurturing and nature. Own it. Nope. You know why I won't own it? Because there's nothing to own. So shut up. You can't help you were born to racist parents. You know what? Fuck off. You do not know my parents. You do not know any... You don't know hardly any white person's parents. I mean, sure, maybe you have got introduced to some white people and their parents, and maybe you have some reasoning, be it legitimate or not, that those parents are racist. Fine, whatever, but you do not know every white person's parents. So... fuck off with your jackassery assumptions, who were raised in a white supremacist system. Quote unquote. You can help with tearing down the racist systems and structures that support you and kill me and my... Ho, 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 ho. Oh, you can help with tearing down the racist systems and structures that support you and kill me. Oh, so... when you tell me that when you were like in the middle of writing this article that somebody was like just slowly chopping a knife further and further into your head so it would kill you increasingly more, or somebody was just slowly but surely injecting freaking God, what's the word? It's cyanide into your bloodstream so as to kill you, just slowly but surely so as to kill you. You telling me that that was what was happening while you're reading this, while you're writing this article? Oh my gosh. Somebody call the police. Oh, but wait. We can't because they're racist apparently, and they would have like finished off the job for those people trying to kill her in the first place. And my son's based on flawed science crafted by flawed white and European people. Are they now? Or is it just a big fat coincidence as to how that black people are negatively affected in some certain ways? You know what? I'm really not seeing any argument here, folks. Just a bunch of assertions. White people admitting they are racist is necessary for those individuals desiring to do something right now. If you can't do that, I can't rock with you. Well, I don't want to rock with you. You're so fucking unlikable and detestable that no one wants to rock with you. No sane and decent person, anyways. I can't walk with you. I can't talk with you. I don't want to do that with you either. I can't help you. I don't want to be helped by you. In fact, you are of no help at all. And I damn sure can't trust you. Well, then fine. Fuck you too. If we cannot trust each other, well then I guess for all I know, you might have fucked some children yourself. By the way, I'm not serious right there. I am not seriously accusing or slandering this person as being a pedophile. I'm just saying that as a hyperbolic example of how that we cannot trust each other, folks. If you're gonna be really that bad faith, well then fuck it. Why are we here? Racism got us into this mess. Anti-racism is the only thing that will get us out of it. It's been how about if somebody was to speak out and do response videos to people of the like of Richard Spencer, etc.? Does that count as anti-racism? If so, well then I myself have done that, and I have a few other people that I'm associated with who have responded to that sort of alt-right ethno-status type bullshit too. I mean, even if you don't call that anti-racism, I will solidly call that anti-racism myself. So there's your example of anti-racism. Satisfied yet? No? Okay, well then you'll never be satisfied. Fuck you too. Y'all can't keep running from yourselves. I'm not running from myself. What the fuck are you talking about? Somebody call for an exterminator, says Night Shift 10,000. Sent 1000 says, I'd rather walk with people who can see past my skin color. Exactly, Sent 1. This person is seeing nothing but skin color. Alright. All white people are racist, and the fact that you need a special out like a not all white people label is, well, it's true. Not all white people are racist. And I'll say it even for, at least the ACAB crowd have a little bit more of an argument as to say that all cops are bad. I mean, if you don't even have near as much of an argument to say that, because at least for the ACAB crowd and all the anti-cop people out there, they go pointing out to the examples of police swearing an oath to, uphold the law. Although, then again, I would point out the example as to how that they're also sworn to uphold the Constitution, and the law in a lot of ways goes against the Constitution, so therefore they're kind of in contradiction with their oath when they enforce some certain laws, so it's kind of not inherent in their oath to be, say, enforcing gun control legislation. Let's put that out there, for example. But nonetheless, at least anti-cop people, they have the whole oath thing in regards to cops to justify their generalization as to why that all cops are bad. But you don't have even nowhere near that amount of an argument. Not even close. Because really, it's not like all white people, the moment that they are birthed, that they swear on a Bible or something, I will oppress all black people. No, that does not exist. Not at all. So you're just being stupid. Because it says to me, you are racist, but you're in denial about it. How is not all white people are racist a disheartening? How? Or how is it even a sign of being racist? It's just a statement of fact. Plain and simple. I mean, come on. Anyway, to me, this kind of white person is most dangerous kind of white people I know, and I just don't have time to play games with you all anymore. People who go saying examples as to how they are not racist. People who are saying that they are not bad people. People who would dare defend themselves. To me, this kind of white person is most dangerous kind of white people I know, and I just don't have time to play games with you all anymore. Oh, how dare they? How dare a person who happens to be white defend themselves from accusations of being a piece of shit, of being a racist? How dare they defend themselves? It's so horrible. How dare anybody defend themselves from accusations of having an accused bad trait? What is this world coming to when, okay, putting the sarcasm aside, what the fuck is this world coming to when people go saying that you defending yourself from false accusations is a bad thing? This world is utter shit, people. I tell you. Do I even want to live on here anymore? Anyway, they're so busy dodging responsibility. What responsibility? Do you have any evidence as to how these particular white people that you go talking to are responsible for racism? Do you have any examples of them being racist? Tell me. Tell me. What's the example? Are you going to bring it forth? They are so busy dodging responsibility they can't see the obvious racism and needing an exception to the rule. There are no exceptions to racism and white people. You're born into that gang. You're born into that gang. If we are, oh god, do I even bring up this article? If we are to, you know what, you are sounding exactly like some alt-right or neo-Nazi piece of shit who goes saying that all black people are thieves, that all black people are murderers. And there's no exception or escaping that fact that you are some murderous, raping, stealing piece of shit. You are born into that gang. You are born into the gang culture that infects the black community. You sound no different. Except on the flip side, you're a black person accusing white people of being racist. That is literally how stupid that you sound, Marley K. Now's the time to show that Black Lives Matter. Okay, yeah, and we can do that. I mean, okay, even if I was to give the benefit of the doubt to you on everything that you say in regards to police reform, white people can, at the same time of saying that they're not racist, also be advocating for police reform. Let's say, for example, or whatever else that you push for. Those aren't contradictory to each other. Those aren't in conflict with one another. If you think they are, well then you stupid. You are so fucking stupid. It's time to show us any lives matter besides a white one. How are they showing that non-white lives don't matter? Are they advocating that black people or other races get killed and oppressed, etc.? If not, well then you're just full of shit. Either you're for black people or against. How do I word this? I'm not for anyone of any particular character. Okay, excuse me. Let me try to put it this way. Let me try to reword it. I'm not for any group based off of any arbitrary characteristic, but I am for all people being allowed. Okay. I'm for all people of, regardless of arbitrary characteristic, being allowed to live, being able to experience freedom and libertarianism, etc. How's that? And if you claim otherwise, well then you are just a straw-manning hack. I mean, question: Are these people who you talk to, these white people who you talk to, are they saying that they're against black people? Are they saying that they're not for black people? Just to run along with your language, are they saying that they are not for black people being, not oppressed ultimately? If they are not saying shit like that, well then you do not have a leg to stand on at fucking all. Otherwise, if you say otherwise, you're just a straw-manning hack. It's just that simple. Being caught up in what I call you by your rightful name instead of being aware of the reasons I called you. Your name is between you and your maker. What? Lady, God knows me better than you do. And he knows that I am far less racist than you assume me to be. Knows that all white people are far less racist than you assume them to be. At all. Gentleman 1000 says, defending yourself as racist if you are a white straight male. Exactly, apparently. Reckless Tucker says, this person who wrote the article name is Marley. I don't care how dark they are. They're white. I don't know about that, but okay. JC Armitage says, yeah, I'm willing to bet that most of this writer's friends or people who can tolerate her nonsense, to be more accurate, are probably impossible, whopper, soy latte downing, white liberals, right? 1000 says, most likely the people that follow her would be soy boys or agree on the subject she is talking about, right? Reckless Tucker says, by the way, DarkCon, that ketchup thing was a Thomas Sowell quote, and the fact you didn't catch it makes you a heathen. Well, I haven't read every single book of Thomas Sowell. The only thing that I have listened to so far from Thomas Sowell is Basic Economics. I'm trying to help. What the fuck? I'm trying to help white people help us by showing them how white supremacy and racism works when you're not white. Huh? You're not doing a good job of it. So don't talk, just listen. You can talk at the end of this. What's to stop me? How are you to stop me? I mean, do I not ever have a time to respond? Do white people at all ever not have a time to respond? I need you, white and white passing people, to understand that a white person or non-black person of color unwilling to admit their inherent anti-blackness is not an ally but an enemy. How is it inherent? Like I said, it's not like every single white person, as soon as they're born, goes swearing on a Bible, I will oppress all non-white people or whatever. So no, it's not inherent. You cannot fix what is broken unless you admit to yourselves you've been raised and taught by racist parents who raise you in racist systems and white spaces to give you the best chance of making it in a white world because they know how bad it was being black. Now, I'm probably just going to power through most of this article because it's getting repetitive. Period. I don't care where you are in the world. Everyone knows they don't want to be black because white people have taught the world black people are bad despite them needing us to survive. I mean, I'm not wishing myself to be of a different skin color just because of the fact that I don't care. I don't care about what skin color I am. It's not anything to do with oppression or privilege or anything like that. It's just that I don't care what skin color I was or am born in. White people couldn't even go to the moon without a black woman. You know, I think I might have vaguely heard about that. But anyway, we have proven time and time again our worth, and white people have dismissed us and let us down because they are racist, having been taught that black people are inferior. Yeah, because you have sat through every single fucking session of class that every single white person has went through, and spotted those examples as to how that, oh, black people are being oppressed, of how their teacher is teaching them that oh, black people are inferior or whatever. I gotta go, says Reckless Trucker. See you later, Trucker. It's almost like the alt-right and communists are the same kind of people, says it True Grave. Not exactly the same people. I mean, communists at least pretend that they care about people of all colors, whereas alt-righters, they are more outward about their racism. Communists, which I will grant the benefit of the doubt, might be, or at least the big examples, anyways, of communists might be racist, but they're racist in a different way than alt-righters, to where them two just go fighting against each other. Mr. Merchant says, white supremacy is just the boogeyman hiding behind every corner. Boo! I'm the ghost of white supremacy. Yep. We have proven time and time again our worth, and you know, with this, I just got the tone. What's up, Aspie?
The ceiling of my bathroom.
Yeah. I'm also hearing a lot of the background noise going on for that your mic is picking up.
Yeah, I know. I turned off the fan.
Little FYI.
Are you reading that cursed article, that freaking "you're white and you're racist by default" article?
Yep. It was shared by Mr. Merchant, I believe, originally.
I read a little ways down that article. I cringed so hard. The sides of my mouth curled around my ears. It was bad.
It is pretty bad. It's nothing but assertions, and she acts like her assertions are absolute fact. And to say otherwise, to defend yourself from otherwise, defend yourself from those, is racist. Like, how dare people be defending themselves from baseless accusations of racism?
You should at least before this is before you're done with this video, you should go and read her the sort of little author description. It's hilarious.
Let's do that right now, actually. A little description at the very bare bottom, I think, is what you're meaning. Marley K says, I write intelligent, unvarnished thoughts on anti-blackness, racism, politics, black people, and white supremacy, white fragility. Yeah, sure. I'm not just saying anything intelligent. I'm just saying a whole bunch of babyish assertions, a bunch of childish assertions. That's not intelligent. So stop propping up your ego like that.
I hate it when people think they're a lot smarter than what they actually are.
Yep. Chatsburg, for example. Anyway, but no more. White folks cannot and will not stop being a part of systems that were set up to make life easy and better for them and hard and bad for black people. What systems are you talking about? Like, put forth the examples. Um, cannot and will not stop being a part of systems. And what if they advocate for change of those systems? Are they still racist at that point when they advocate for policy changes
Well, I
within this
think what
country?
she's talking about, I think what a lot of times when they're talking about oppressive systems, they're talking about things like, like not just law enforcement, but also getting mortgage loans and things along those lines. What they're thinking about, they think there's this high amounts of discrimination in those things.
Well, say if, for example, a white person is a full-on socialist and wants to make it so that all people, regardless of race, get freebies. Regardless of race, regardless of income or whatever, get a whole bunch of free shit, free, quote unquote, so as to prevent anybody, especially black people, from falling behind on their mortgage, etc. I mean, I guess they're still racist in this bitch's opinion. If you don't admit that all white people are racist, this will never change. Well, there's nothing to admit. There's a section of white people who are racist. You want to point out those examples? Well, then I will make a judgment call on whether or not that white person is racist. Simple as that. But you're not even presenting any examples of that. You aren't showing any real life examples. You're not even showing any like vague, ambiguous examples of where you don't even mention a name of a white person who had been racist in XYZ example. You're just asserting bullshit.
They believe that society was set up in a way to where it benefits white people, but at the disbenefit of other races such as black people, Latinos, which really makes no sense because if this was an overarching truth, you'd see pretty much no successful black people and almost universally successful white people. But they're not even making a lot of times when they switch between saying, oh, even if you're you can be white and be poor but be black and be rich, but you still, because you're white, have an advantage. They're not even saying that. They're just straight up saying that if you're black, if you're white in America, you're racist because you benefit from a system which inherently aids black people. Well, no, white people over black people. When if you just look at how society's actually set up in the sort of different laws, it just makes it makes no sense. If you look at the determiners for success in the United States, it just makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also like to say that success is a highly subjective term. A missionary living in a third world nation and taking a crap in a hole in the ground would probably consider him or herself successful, depending on how well they meet their objectives. So that's it. So success is a highly subjective term.
Yeah, fair point. Just read our first Constitution. Why? Wait. Are you going to actually cite the verse from the Constitution of where that said white people only are to get the XYZ rights? I mean, whatever law there was put in place to say that black people cannot vote, it was in the law outside of the Constitution, not the Constitution itself. What?
3/5. She's probably going to try and bring up the parts of the Constitution where slavery was sort of given a sort of like the 3/5 compromise, or the law banning keeping the exporting of slaves legal until like the year 1802 or something. I think it was 1812, or the idea that or no, I think it was 1803, and also a few,
right.
Maybe another one. Laws about that, but those were compromises. Those weren't like things like, yeah, we support slavery. It was more or less an idea, because even back in those days, people had an idea that had in their heads that slavery was going to fall out of style eventually, but in order to have a union, they decided that the best thing to do was to compromise on this issue.
Right. It was unfortunate. They wanted to like get Georgia and South Carolina along with them, but they couldn't unless they said that. Right? Are you playing a ukulele right now?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a ukulele.
Could you please mute yourself when you go playing that thing?
I was gonna.
I'm sorry, Aspie, but I
don't want. Eat my ass. Eat my ass. That's a Filthy Frank song, by the way.
Okay. Oh wait. I was about to say, speaking of Filthy Frank, but no, it's Let's Be Frank. That is the buddy of Aircraft Sparky, who just arrived in the chat. Hello, Aircraft Sparky. He says, bunch of racists, all of them. Stupid Whitey. Right. But yeah, about the whole 3/5 compromise thing. Even that's not technically in the Constitution itself. At least not what I remember reading about it, anyways. I mean, and not in the original Bill of Rights, etc. There's nothing explicitly said that, or even implicitly said, I will say, that black people are supposed to be oppressed, that black people do not get the same rights as white people. If America and white men weren't racist, they would have never stipulated we black folks were property and not people. Well, here's the thing. Not all of those white people were agreeing with the other white people who were literally believing that black people are property. You stupid fuck. Get your head out of your ass. The Constitution stipulated white men had rights and that black men had none. Own it. None. Okay. No. I read that wrong. The Constitution stipulated white men had rights and that black men had none. Own it. Citation needed.
That was retarded. After many slave, here's the one thing that a lot of people don't know about about early American history was that a lot of slaves were able to free themselves during this time, and that after America there were a lot of free slaves. I mean, yes, there were still unfortunately laws that resulted in segregation of the two races, but this idea that black people had literally no rights is just, I mean, it's one thing to say that they didn't have the same level of rights as white men in America, and I will sadly agree with you, but if you're saying that black men in America literally had no rights, even if they managed to buy their way out of slavery, is just retarded.
Yeah. Continuing on though, own that white people have spent the last 400 years maintaining the status quo by doing the same things their ancestors did to maintain getting the same results that ancestors did. Oh yes, I totally have a black person in my backyard right now picking cotton. In fact, I have to get out to him and start cracking the whip again in order to get them back in line. Yeah, literally the case. In fact, I think I just saw a black person just steal like a pack of pencils from me. I have to go out and shoot him now. Oh man, I'm totally doing the same thing that every single backwater racist redneck way back in the first founding of this country were doing. No, that's not the truth. Not at all the case. You're being retarded. All white people are racists and or act racistly to maintain their white interests. What white interests? Whiteness is not an ideology. White is not an ideology. I mean, not all white people have the same beliefs. If you think so, then you're fucking stupid. Not all white people have the same beliefs. Not all white people have the same interests. If you think that literally to be the thing, well then you're just one, stupid, and two, strawmanning millions upon millions of white folk. Aircraft.
Strawmanning. I don't think that's the right word for that. Strawmanning is to misrepresent another person's argument. When you're if you want to say they're misrepresenting them, I think that would be a little bit more proper than saying straw manning. Straw manning means you're misrepresenting an argument. When you're misrepresenting a person, it's not really the same thing. So
Well, I use a straw man to say that you're misrepresenting somebody's beliefs or arguments, and for the sake of trying to defeat them, in a debate or otherwise. Um, and maybe I'm using it a little bit too broadly as far as applying it to her, because I'm saying that she's straw manning an entire group. But all the same, I don't know. I mean, I'm not completely wrong. I'm
All
just.
right. Dinner's ready, by the way. I gotta go. It was nice talking to you.
See you later, Aspie. Thanks for coming on for a few minutes. We all know you do it. Do what? Do it because we see how you live, work, play, vote, and engage on social media. We? What are you, the fucking Borg from Star Trek? Last I checked, black people are not a collective. Last I checked, not all black people agree with your stupid, hateful bullshit. You're not fooling anyone but yourselves for denying this. There's no one to fool because it's just the fucking truth of the matter to be saying, I'm not racist, not all white people are racist, etc., etc. All white people are racist because racism starts at home. And even if you're not raised racist, but you already said that all white people are raised racist a little bit earlier in this article. So I do not know why you're all of a sudden being generous to say, and even if you're not raised racist. America's systems make you choose sides. I mean, that might not be entirely false, but it's not necessarily based off of race. Not always. It's always easier and more comfortable siding with what? It's always easier and more comfortable siding with racist. I think she meant to say racists. I do not know if she meant to say racists or racism. Actually, no, it's not always easier and more comfortable to be siding with the racists or racism. I mean, do you think it's easy for me to be coming out saying to people that I am against illegal immigration, for example? I mean, I'm not against illegal immigration because based off of racism or race or whatever. I'm against illegal immigration just because of the well, okay. I will have to like rethink my beliefs on illegal immigration at sometime before or sometime again. But for right now, illegal immigration, I'm not against that based off of any reason off of race or whatever. And yet people still call me racist just because I go speaking out against it. It's fucking stupid. I mean, that's just one example. I could probably go on longer, except I don't have any other examples off the top of my head. So, anyway, own it. Racism starts at home. You keep on saying own it, but you're overusing it, really. You know what? I almost feel like this could apply with the Princess Bride meme. The Princess Bride meme could apply to this one. You know, when that Inigo is saying to whatever his face is, the Italian dude played by Wallace Shawn. You keep on using that word. I don't think that word means what you think it means. I mean, that's what I feel like right here. Conundrum, hello, how you doing, buddy? He says, oh my gosh, some idiot is talking about how white people are racist. The same boring, reheated, microwavable leftovers of logic ever. Yeah. I just felt like getting a little piece of the action myself, I guess. And this is actually a very recent article. It says, inconceivable, says a Conundrum, right? Conundrum. Yeah, it was actually posted June of last year, so it's fairly recent. This bullshit is going on. This means these white people must realize their parents and grandparents are likely racist. Do we now? Do we? I mean, do we even see it? Do you even know that we see it? If it even exists. Does it even exist in the first place? Well, I mean, I think not, at least for the most part anyways. This is the reason I believe most white people and This is the reason I believe most white people and people of color can't help that they are racist. They were born to become racist and taught to be racist. Except they weren't. No, they weren't taught to be racist. Most white people, I would even say, or at least in some basic manner, taught to not be racist. So shut the fuck up. Being racist to me is like a generational curse. It's like being born with an addiction gene or some other genetic defect that alters your entire life until you learn to live with it and control it. Oh man, what kind of drugs you smoking right there? That statement did not make any sense. Racism is also like an addiction. It makes you addicted to power, money, social status, and a system that favors you. People can be addicted to power regardless of whether or not they're hateful of other people based off of race. You're just full of shit. Again. It's like having a lifetime platinum membership to the all-white country club. The drinks are cold, the seats are comfortable, the food is wonderful, and the help is black and brown except the white girl at the door who greets you. Racism improves your white life. Oh, God. How come I have to press how come am I skeptical of this person's narrative or her interpretation of a white country club or something or other? By the way, reading up on the chat a little bit more. Oh, well, I don't care what the race is of an illegal immigrant is. Illegal is illegal, be they British, Mexican, Canadian, or Afghanistan. Right, Aircraft Sparky? Yeah. I mean, the point that I was saying earlier, I guess to sort of reiterate it, is that I'm not against illegal immigration based off of race, but still I'm accused sometimes of being racist because I am against illegal immigration, or other people for that matter as well. I mean, do you think it's really comfortable for people to be coming out as quote unquote racist or to be coming out against illegal immigration? I mean, it's not, no. No, it isn't, says Aircraft Sparky. Yeah, exactly. It's not comfortable to be coming out on a political issue that would be twisted and misinterpreted as racist, or the position you take as being racist, anyways. Canadian says, I'm not hating this. It's person that's saying white people are racist for clout and virtue signaling brownie points. Exactly. Moonbase Radio says that. Aircraft Sparky, those are hate facts. Okay. And Baker Mia says, I'm not racist. I just don't like low IQ people. Winky face. Okay. Aircraft Sparky says, hate facts, best facts. Aircraft Sparky says, irregardless is not a word. Well, my bad. Conundrum says, did they just make a comparison of racism to alcoholism and drug addiction? Wow, that is totally scummy as all hell. Well, I don't know if they did that, but yeah, I guess so. Anyway. But no, since the day you were born that your whiteness comes at the expense of my blackness. How? How? How is me being white just inherently hurting your black pigmented skin? How is it just, I'm sorry, does my white skin just irradiate some sort of energy that causes your black skin to burn somehow? I mean, what kind of sci-fi knowledge or what kind of sci-fi fantasy am I living in right now if that were the case? Because that's how the system is set up. Own it so that we can move up forward. No, like, oh God. Again, you're saying own it too many times. And no, I'm not going to own it because there's nothing to own because it's not the truth. We don't need or want your kind of white people around us who cannot admit they are racist because they are incapable of dealing with the collateral damage of the moment. No, they're unable to, they're not admitting to being racist because they're not fucking racist. That's the reason why, you dumb fuck. That's not the white freedom fighters we want on our teams. Admit it so we can go on. What the fuck? What a little brat. What the fuck? It just keeps on repeating over and over again. Own it, admit it, etc., etc. Or words synonymous to those things and whatnot. It's just, are we dealing with a child? Are we dealing with a little 12-year-old stuck in a, I don't know, 40-year-old's body? Look at that. Look at that face. This looks like she could be like late 30s, early 40s, something like that. Are we talking to a 12-year-old stuck in a 40-year-old's body? That's what it feels like right now. White people and non-white POC. Okay, so she's not even just singling out white people. She's singling out non-white POC. Oh, white people and non-white POC living as white. Oh, God. I mean, if people are able, yeah, no, that's just that hurts my brain. That's so stupid. I'm not even going to respond to it right now. All I can say, if somebody of a different skin color is adapting a lifestyle that is quote unquote white, that is stereotypical of white people or whatever, well then, not a big deal. What's the big deal? Who cannot acknowledge these truths are saying they don't want to relinquish the power and privileges assigned to their places in the social racial order set by white supremacy. Oh yeah, I totally got my white privilege card right here. Let me show it to you. No, I'm not going to. Here's my white privilege card. Actually, here it is. Here's my white privilege card. It's called Go Fuck Yourself. Embracing that means that you also embrace mistreat. Wait, what? I'm having an aneurysm right now, folks. White people and non-white POC living. Let me restart that. White people and non-white POC living as white who cannot acknowledge these truths are saying they don't want to relinquish the power and privileges assigned to their places in the social/racial order set by white supremacy. Embracing that means that you also embrace mistreating me, taking from me and my children, separating me, and making my pathways more difficult so that you may have pathways that are smooth, paved with gold or titanium. What? Wait. What? Embracing what? What are you saying that people are embracing or should embrace? Are you saying that people should embrace the fact that they are racist? Or are you saying that people are embracing white privilege and white supremacy? I mean, if the latter is what you're saying, well then you're again fucking strawmanning. If you're referring to the former, well then I don't know. Ouch. God, this is so stupid. Is Google too hard or something, says Cat Chat? I guess so. I'm going to call it a night. Catch y'all next time. See you later, Sent111000. Embracing that means that you also embrace mistreating me. No, I mean, what are they embracing that is mistreating you? I mean, are they embracing police policies that hurt innocent people? I mean, if there is like an individual who does that, well, then point out the examples, and then I guess I'll condemn them too. I mean, it especially kind of depends on what the specific policy is that you're pointing at, and if your interpretation of that policy, being as bad as it is truthful to as bad as you are interpreting it to be, well then, yeah, sure. Oh, God. Okay, 1 second, y'all. I'm getting a phone call right now. I'm going to have to talk to you all later. Right now, break time. Sorry about that, folks. It was a rather important phone call. It could not wait right there. Conundrum says, "Let me guess at the Dark Conservatarian. That was your grinder date." Sure, yeah, sure, Conundrum. Although, funny thing that you go mentioning dates though in general. I actually gave a belated Valentine's gift to a coworker earlier today at work. So that's a little neat thing that happened today. But but aside from that, is the article written by Kenneth Copeland? Says Cat Chat. No, it's written by somebody called Marley K. Uh, Conundrum also says, but if these people of color lining the lifestyle of white people, wow, I bet she lives like a white person, which she is in denial about, right? Anyway, um, anyway, sorry about that, folks. I can't remember my last points. So we're just gonna continue on. Um, Racism makes life easy for white people. It's not right. Not really. No. I mean, it's racism. Okay. Racism makes it kind of hard for white people to be friends with black people that they would otherwise want to be friends with, if not a certain racism element or interpreted racism element didn't exist. Um, Although you may be racist, you don't have to stay that way. Well, what? No one has to be racist. Racist is a choice. Yeah, you're not making it sound like that to be. You're not making it sound like. Oh god. Oh my. Oh fuck. The contradiction just hurts my head here. Earlier, Marley K just said that it is inherent for white people to be racist, that they are literally taught and born to be racist, etc. And now all of a sudden she wants to say that racism, that being racist is a choice? You fucking contradicting stupid hack. You're right that being racist is a choice, and it is only a choice. It's not inherent for anybody to be racist just because of their being white or whatever, just because they're white or whatever. It's a choice to not treat all people good, well, and respectful. Oh god. What if a white person? I mean, here's the thing. Although you may be racist, you don't have to stay that way. Here's the thing. Not all people are staying racist. All the people who have been racist at some point in their life, not all of them are staying racist. And yeah, you're right. Not all people have to stay racist, and they're not. Some people, anyways. And you're damn right. Racism is a choice. Not even near all white people are choosing to be racist. The contradiction just really hurt my head there. It's a choice to not treat all people good, well, and respectful. It's a choice to center whiteness. Well, fuck. Here's the thing. I'm not centering whiteness. I mean, is anybody like making a concerted effort to center whiteness? I mean, if you're going to be talking about as to how that white people go centering a certain white historical figure within a movie that they're making that is about that white political figure, well, then I guess you could go off on a limb and say that, yeah, they might be centering a white person, but not necessarily whiteness. What the fuck even is whiteness? You're not even doing a good job of describing it at all, which has always been the default. It's a choice to center whiteness, which has always been the default, except when it hasn't. Here's the thing. In Africa, white is not the default. In Asia, white is not the default. In South America, white is not the default. Going back thousands of years ago, before the Anglos and the Saxons were even existing as a people, white people didn't even exist. Whiteness wasn't even centered, it wasn't even the focus. In fact, even in, okay. My phone is on fire right now. I'm gonna probably have to possibly cut this live stream short so as I can just get to the texts a whole lot sooner. But anyway, what was I going to say? Even in the times of Rome, when the Anglos and Saxons were just starting to come up as a people, the Anglos and Saxons, me going off of my layman's history, I will say that that is when that white people first began as a race, first began to become as a thing. Was the Anglos and the Saxon barbarians of the Germanic regions and whatnot. I mean, even in the times of Rome, when white people were just starting to come up, existing as a race on Earth, Caucasians, anyways. Not even then were they centered. Was the world centered around them, or media, or whatever? It was Rome, olive folk, olive-colored folk, if anything, that were more the center of things. Anyway, racists make a conscious decision to ignore the cries and petitions of black people and to believe. The question is, are the cries and petitions legitimate? Because, believe it or not, Marley, it isn't objective as to whether or not what thing that black liberals go advocating for is virtuous. Sorry. White people make a choice to believe black people over white people. What? What? That doesn't make any sense. Racism is in everything, and you can't see the racism in those things because you are racist. Yeah. Racism is in the breakfast burrito that I had just a little bit earlier for dinner, folks. It was totally racist. That burrito was just screaming at me, white ethno state for the win. And by the way, it was that breakfast burrito that was so shitty that I want my money back, actually, because the eggs were just slightly undercooked. And for all I know, I'm probably going to get sick overnight from it. Maybe not. They were just only slightly undercooked. But anyways, you can be racist and marry or have sex with a black person or person of color. Yeah, I mean, I guess if they're like your literal sex slaves, almost only in that case would it be racist to be having sex with a black person or whatever person of other color. Otherwise, I don't see it. And you're just reaching. Please understand that racism has nothing to do with sex and marriage. I mean, I'll agree. Racism has nothing to do with sex or marriage. A person can be not racist towards people of other color without having to fuck people of those other colors. People can compartmentalize their bullshit with the best of them. That's baggage the white part of the relationship will need to work out. All white people are racist. No, they're not. Change my mind. Not all white people are racist. Change my mind. Just admit it so you can grow. No, there's nothing to admit. We need people learning and growing, not willfully ignorant bags of scorching air. You need to get this lesson and get it quickly because we're on the Titanic sinking right now. We can't get out of this mess without white people. What a fucking clown! What a fucking drama queen! Is this a troll post? Is this just a big old fucking act for this person to get a role in some movie to play the part of a black nationalist or whatever? Because this is just getting so fucking overly melodramatic right now, I can't even take it seriously anymore. Understand that not all white people will be willing or able to relinquish their white power and privileges, and that's okay. What? What? That's almost like me saying or admitting that not all people are going to stop being murderers, that there's still going to be that minority of people that are going to continue murdering and saying, and that's okay. No. I mean, if I was to agree with you, your exact racial narrative, Miss Marley K, then no, I would say that no, it's not okay that racism still exists. In fact, I do believe that racism exists, but I just don't interpret it the same exact way that you do. And the racism that does exist in of itself is not really okay. The fact that it's always going to exist is unpreventable, but it in and of itself is not okay. We already know there will be casualties in this war against racism, unfairness, injustice, and inequality. Casualties or causalities like breakups and losing friends, even your partners. Some people love hating more than they love loving. Except here's the thing, are they really hating that person? Or is that. Okay, excuse me. Here's the question though. Is the white person really hating the black person, or is the black person hating the white person for not agreeing with them and their political opinion, so therefore they break up or they divorce or whatever? It ain't a one-way street as far as the hatred goes. And that's okay. It's a choice, one that we all have to deal with one day. Oh, God. I lost a lot of white friends and associates over the past few years. Yeah, gee, I wonder why. It's because you're calling them all a bunch of pieces of shit, woman. Of course they are. Of course you are going to lose friends when you keep on insisting that they are of a fucking far negative trait. What kind of fucking drugs are you on to be shocked about that? It's nothing new. Most blacks and people of color have been stabbed in the back or sabotaged by quite a few white people. But occasionally, a few tricked us. We allowed white people into our inner sanctums. We broke bread with them. We laughed. We shared personal stories with you. Yeah, that was because you weren't taught to be hateful originally, but then you eventually were taught to be hateful towards white people by saying, "Oh, all white people are racist," and that is when that you lost friendship with them. But then Obama and Trump happened, and white folks lost their minds. I mean, white people voting for Obama, that's not evidence of them not being racist. I mean, why do I even ask? Why do I even ask the questions here? Trump getting elected has been a green light for a lot of white people to be racist in public. I mean, the fact that the alt-right had a slight rise in primarily 2017 and parts of 2018 for that matter, I mean, I guess that would be evidence of what you're talking about, but that doesn't mean that all white people are racist. It doesn't mean that all white people are racist. It doesn't even mean that generally white people are racist. Just go to Twitter to see how racist white people and people of color have become because they believe they are losing something. I'm tired of my soon-to-be former friends being disrespectful to me. Are they legitimately disrespecting you, or are they just disagreeing with you? Because disagreeing with you is not inherently disrespectful. They are racist to my face as if they don't care about my feelings at all. Quote them. Quote them. Quote them on how they're being racist. Otherwise, I'm just going to call bullshit on what you're saying there. Or better yet, show screen caps of the things that they have said to you over social media. Because you're so full of shit, I cannot believe any narrative that you spin right now. Like, good Lord. Conundrum says, congrats, bud, in regards of what I said earlier about the Valentine's gift. Oh my gosh, a fan fiction, My Immortal makes more sense than this garbage. Yep. Conundrum says only a Sith deals in absolutes. So Marley K is a Sith confirmed. I'm surprised your nose isn't bleeding due to having an aneurysm by reading this hot steaming pile of garbage. Yep. Or if one person of either color would cheat on the person and the other person is upset because their trust has been violated, so they break up. Does that make them racist? I don't know. They might think so. Twitter, oh my gosh, that is a cesspool of garbage, says Conundrum. Indeed. Oh, what? I am deleting all my white Facebook friends because they were so racist. Fucking melodramatic so much. I mean, I find it really hard to believe that every single last one of your white Facebook friends was calling you a nigger or saying that you had to be sent back to Africa or something. I press X to doubt. Everybody in the chat, press X to doubt if you're really doubting the personal story that this person is giving right now, as far as their supposed treatment from other white people. It was painful. It was painful for me, but not as painful as enduring their racism they spewed day in and day out. We had some good times. They were good people, or so I thought. What I learned about what they really thought of me was that I wasn't like the rest of the blacks they hated. God. Like I said, press X to doubt. What they don't realize is I'm the epitome of the black they hate. I mean, oh God. Are you going to stereotype black people as being a whole bunch of race baiting, white guilting, borderline black supremacist, hateful pieces of crap? If that's the case, well then you're the fucking racist. Because me, I would not generalize black people as being of that personality, that belief, or whatever. No, you're not the epitome of the black they hate. You're just the epitome of the piece of shit in general that they hate. Of the hateful piece of shit that they hate. I just code switched so they can't see it. There's no vacation from blackness. I mean, there's no vacation from whiteness other as a skin color. There's no I mean, unless you're to like bleach, unless if you as a black person were to bleach your skin to make yourself look white, or if you as a white person were to like try to make yourself look more black, like Sean King and Rachel Dolezal, for example. There's no vacation from your skin color. No shit, Sherlock. You either deny it, hide it, or don't forsake it. I stayed in a relationship with my racist white friends for too long. They did not value or respect me. How do you know? Were they just saying I disagree with your opinions on racism, and then you decide to at them? Oh, God, how come I have a feeling? No, I want to say this. I mean, yeah, some of your white friends might have been hateful and racist towards you, but for some other those white friends that you had, I'm going to say that they weren't the disrespectful ones. Some of them, you were the one actually being disrespectful because you will not respect the fact that they can disagree with you on your interpretation of race and politics in general. Really, this is just you fucking projecting. They did not value or respect me in a lot of those relationships. I was their one black friend. I knew when I was the only one that really meant, but I tried to ignore the obvious, waiting for a glimmer of hope. JC Armstrong says that, yeah, I'll take shit that didn't happen for 500, Alex. Yeah, indeed. Conundrum also says, Twitter, you never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious. Right. He also presses X to doubt. That is what is that one Billy Madison meme? That meme best represent this whole Tumblr blog. I don't know which you might be talking about. I'd never even seen Billy Madison, which might be a shame on my part. But anyways, anyone who has one black friend can't really be trusted. I'm just saying. Fuck off. Or are they just very socially awkward and don't hardly get out a whole lot? Can't really be trusted. Says who? Says your stupid ass? Thankfully, I found new good white people who get the racism thing. And yet they're still racist, apparently, in your opinion. They are good people, people that I can trust, and I don't have to guess what side of the fence they are on. Once you admit you're racist and you're on the anti-racism bus now, you'll experience losses too. Change is wonderful. Oh God. Wow, you're just wanting white people to cuck out to you by saying, "Yeah, I'm a bad person." You're not looking for mutual respect in your friendships. You just want them to bow down and kiss the ring of your words and opinions. You are a piece of shit, Marley K. And I make no apologies in saying that. You are fucking toxic as all get out. Those losses will be your friends, spouses, lovers, relatives, and for some of you, even your parents. It will be painful and heartbreaking, but that's how we feel watching white people choose unjust white people and inhumanity over saving black people our justice. We are at a crossroads with this race thing, and you have to decide which side of the fence you will be on white people. Are you racist or not? I'm not. I'm not racist. Do you believe in right or do you believe in wrong? Everybody thinks they believe in right. What the fuck are you talking about? Do you believe in justice for all or do you believe in justice for whites? Fuck off. What do you think I am, George Wallace? Of course I believe in justice for all, you loaded questioning hack. Do you believe that white people must be centered and first? No. I mean, otherwise I'd be bitching about the Beasts of No Nation movie off of Netflix that was produced in Africa and had not a single white person in it. Or do you believe we should address each racial group according to their grievances and losses as it relates to racism and white supremacy? Oh God, depends on what the specifics are of your interpretation of that belief. It really does. Because I'm not just going to lap up and say that, yeah, you're right. Because I do not know what vague, ambiguous shit you're talking about. Do you think we can just move on with no reparations for the problems white people have created? I don't believe in reparations. Because with reparations, you are like rewarding people who did not even suffer the hardships that go getting talked about, like slavery, for example. Slavery. Not a single former slave lives or exists right now. If they did, well, then you would have more of an argument to say that they should get reparations, that they should get, I don't know, $2,000, like the white person who formerly owned them should get fined, and all those $2,000 should go directly to the former slave that they once owned. You might have an argument at that point, but that's not the case. All slave owners and all slaves, former slaves, are dead. So what's the point in reparations? You're just punishing innocent people by taxing the shit out of them to reward people who were not the victims of said crime that you're repairing for, that you're giving reparations for. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Actually, yeah, it is, because we have a federal fiscal budget to be talking about here, bitch. You call yourself intelligent, but really you're not. You're not taking into account all the issues in regards to this. Think long and hard before you answer, because there really is no coming back from this if you make the wrong decision. Well, I am very confident in my decision. And what's to say, even if anybody was to read this article and they were to give one answer, but then till later on down the line, change their mind on that belief. Change their mind on the beliefs that they once held, the answers that they once gave. Is it really too late? I doubt it. I think not. We don't have time to wait. We have no more time to waste carrying dead weight. None. Oh, God. You act like as if Satan is going to get resurrected tomorrow. As if Satan is going to get resurrected in just a few months, and he's going to literally kill every single person who practices racism and is also a victim of racism. Cut it out with the pessimistic doomsday bullshit. What a drama queen. Are you racist, or are you still going to remain in denial about it? God. The choice is all yours. Just be ready for the public consequences that come with that decision. If people want to keep on calling me racist, I'm going to ask them, how do you think I'm racist? And if they cannot mention a single example as to how that I'm racist, well, then I'm just going to say that they are full of shit and their opinion means nothing, or at least should mean nothing, because they are completely unable to substantiate that opinion and give reasoning as to why that they hold that fucking opinion. I mean, if you're unable to substantiate and explain your opinion, well, then your opinion means absolutely nothing. Plain and simple. And if they're going to mention a reason as to why they think I'm racist that is absolute bullshit, I'm going to correct them on that reasoning. Like it or not, bitch. Black folks aren't tolerating racism anymore. That neither should they. And they never should. The question is, advocating for border security, for example, racist? Or XYZ, whatever policy we go talking about. The question is, being relatively pro-cop racist? I know I'm not. And okay, and I would argue that no, both those things that I mentioned are not racist. Not automatically, anyways. Read the chat a little bit. Even if you gave people reparation, Ivan's son in the chat says, even if you gave people reparations, then they would want something more. Exactly. Conundrum says, reparations, you mean handouts? Exactly. Exactly, Conundrum. Plus, they would squander that reparation money. Probably. Black people are not tolerating racism except when we are racist. So, okay, I do not know what you meant by that, but I thought at first that you were saying except when they are racist, which I was about to say that I agree with you because Marley K, like I said earlier, is being fucking racist. Yeah, white people admitting that you're racist means that you pegged by a big black fist shaped phallic object named a white guilt. Yeah. So punishing everyone for the ones who don't agree with you that are white. Wow, that sounds very racist of her. Exactly. I know I'm not. I'm not being nice to white people so they can remain ignorant and racist. Oh, God. Ignorant and racist are not mutually inclusive of one another. They are not mutually inherently inclusive of one another. Plain and simple. You can be tolerable and respectful and loving of black people, you yourself, or people of all races for that matter, not just black people. You can be tolerant, loving of them, whatnot, you yourself, whilst at the same time be ignorant of whatever other hardships that they have not shown you or talked to you about. I don't care about their white comfort because their will comfort is the source of my discomfort. Oh God. Yeah, because white people not talking about racism is a whole reason as to why that, I don't know. I'd think about that a little bit more. White people need to be uncomfortable in order to see how their entire existence relies on the belittling, degradation, and death of black people. What? White people need to be uncomfortable in order to see how their entire existence relies on the belittling, degradation, and death of black people. Except when it doesn't. Like, my apartment that I live in here is not being maintained by sacrificing a black person at a pentagram every week. Blacks will protest until we get change. There are plenty ready to clash with the police, others ready to burn the country down to the ground. To them, they have absolutely nothing to lose. As well, they'd be attacking innocent people and they'd be pieces of shit if they were to like carry it in the same way that you are sort of vaguely implying here. As far as these people are concerned, they've lost, and it's all because of white people. Yeah, because every single white person, even the littlest black baby and child, has whipped every single black person out there. Blacks are demanding you raise better people and be better people so that we can live better together. I mean, no shit, Sherlock. People should be raising their kids better. The question is, in what way? I mean, is the way that you're talking about that they should be a whole bunch of white guilting sissies? Well, then I have to disagree. They are tired of being harassed by white women and killed by white men. Except not every single white person is doing those shit. So, calm your tits. To accomplish this, white people will need to make some sacrifices. Before you can join this anti-racism movement, you need to understand the kinds of sacrifices necessary to make things fair. John Gorman wrote a phenomenal piece that I can't stop browsing titled 90 days, 400 years, the multiple organ failure of the American experiment. Read it more than once, then meditate on his words before you choose which side of the fence you want to be on. It's not for the faint of heart. What are you talking about there? Is this like some... Is it going to like take me to a new article or no? Is it a link? It's not. It's not working. That link ain't working. So, no, I mean, unless it's a book or something. If that's the case, if it's a book, well, then I got other books to prioritize my reading time. Sorry, but no. To give up white supremacy means you're willing to share, play fair, obey rules, and love one another like you love yourselves. Except here's the thing, not every white person is a white supremacist, and if you think so, you're stupid shit. If you can't see and understand your own racism, you're not ready for this anti-racism life. The America they have taught you about was a lie. Well, then talk about it with me, and then I will dissect your arguments piece by piece. But no, you're just asserting your bullshit. That old country with the bad wig on is dying. It's taking its last breath. I mean, I can agree that America is dying, but it's because of people like you. It's not because of white people defending themselves from accusations of racism why it's dying. It's because of, yes, the legitimate racists who want to oppress black people. It's also because of partisan hacks like you and the corrupt politicians we have, the corrupt bureaucracy, and all that other shit that I could mention a litany of. Antifa, rioters, so on and so forth. You helped kill what it was. It's dead now. It's time to build a new nation. Are you down for that? Not in your image. I'm not down to build a nation that you would like. Because obviously you and I don't have the same preferences. Are you ready to help rebuild, or are you going to be the white person who keeps something dead with no signs of life on life support? No, I'm going to try to revive America so as to get it off of life support. So how about that? If you are, we don't need... What? If you are, we don't need you. You're not ready to move forward, and that is okay. You're such a pretentious cunt. You know that? You go making a whole article saying as to how that it's not okay and that people are, that white people are bad people if they go defend themselves from accusations of racism and et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, out of the other side of your mouth, you go saying that is okay. What a condescending, pretentious cunt. Please know we black folks aren't looking for revenge on white people. Bullshit. How come I want to call bullshit as far as what you are wanting here? I mean, yeah, obviously, not all black people are looking for revenge against white people. In fact, I'd say that it's a super minority of black people that exist out there who want exact revenge on white people. But they do exist. Like, does everybody remember back in 2016 or 2015? I can't remember exactly what it was. Where that the one black lady was all like, "It's open season on the motherfucking crackers." Yeah, it just kill all of them, basically. And there was the one other black lady where she was asked by some white guy with the camera, "So you think that all white people should..." I can't remember what the exact question was. It was, do you think that all white people should be oppressed? Do you think all white people should be killed, etc.? And the black girl was all like, "You damn right I do!" Yeah. Louis Farrakhan says conundrum. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I do not know the full beliefs of Louis Farrakhan, but I guess so. I would presume so, anyways. We just want peace and justice. This isn't about comeuppance. If you are the type of white person who consciously or subconsciously believes slaves now want to become the master after they are freed, you are racist. What the fuck? Let's read that again. If you are the type of white person who consciously or subconsciously believes slaves now want to become the master after they are freed, you are racist. What? What? I mean, yeah, sure. If there's a, here's the thing though. Not all white people think literally that all black people want to become master. That all black people want revenge against white people. Not even close. What do you want about? But those few exceptions that do believe that do think that black people want revenge against white people, well then yeah, sure they are racist, but that is a super minority. What the fuck are you on about? But like I said, there are the few examples of individual black people wanting revenge against white people. You are the epitome of our broken system. White people, you need to decolonize your mind. My mind was not colonized in the first place. As far as I know, there's nobody living up in there except for my own fucking self and my thoughts. Black people aren't looking to harm white people. I mean, if we're going to talk in generalizations, sure, yeah. Generally, black people aren't looking to hurt white people in the way of murder them, steal from them, rape them, or whatever. Sure. But there are the few anecdotes that do. Black people just want to protect our own people. We want our family and friends to be safe, and we want white people to treat us as humans, see us when we are hurting, help us when they break us, and heal us so that we can be whole again. Oh, excuse me. We don't want everything white people. Please stop thinking so selfishly. What? That's not so much selfishly, it's more paranoidly. It's not... if a white person is thinking that all black people want revenge on all white people, that's not so much selfish, it's not so much selfish, it's more paranoid. But whatever. Black people just want some things you have access to in abundance in order to survive and live better. Things you've had for much longer than we have. Things that will make the playing field level, like the power to govern ourselves. I mean, you do have the power to govern yourself. There is literally no law in the books that says that black people are not allowed to own a business or run a household, or et cetera, et cetera. Literally, there's nothing like that. Trust me, white people, we don't want to compete with white folks. You don't want to... Well, as long as you live in a society of varying different groups, you are going to end up competing with various different white folks. I mean, especially within capitalism, but even if capitalism was not the economic system that we live under, which I wouldn't even call America fully capitalist, but that discussion aside. But, oh God, it is getting really late as far as this live stream goes. This article is really fucking long. I should have, prepared better for this. But no, as long as you live in a society, even outside of capitalism existing, you're still going to end up competing with white folk as far as love relationships go. You, as a black person, want to date that black person, well, you're going to have to compete with that white person who also wants that same black person. So, tough. I mean, unless you are a black separatist, unless you are a segregationist of some sort where you want black people and white people to be separate from each other, literally, you're not going to avoid competition with white people in some way or another. White people are the ones who keep making everything a competition. Where do I even start with that? Where do I even start with that? That's so stupid. I mean, if you want to talk about the area of sports, no, it's not just white people, for one thing, that is proposing that sort of competition. It's also non-white folks. And if a white person wants to play sports, well, then inherently it is going to be a competition. Nothing else to be said about it. And it's not a bad thing. Really, I'm going to say this. Competition is not in of itself a bad thing. And if you think that competition is a bad thing, well, then you can just fuck out of here with that shit. I don't even think. Oh god, we just want to live and free. What? We just want to live and free from your glare. Well, too bad. There's still gonna be white people who are going to hold that sort of animosity, that are going to be glaring at you in some way or another. Nonetheless, nothing you can do about it, really. Free from your rule, free from white terror, and free from racism. The cost of being black in America is too damned high, and we need a break. White people, you really need to evaluate yourselves. You need to evaluate your own self, bitch. Seriously. Of how fucking hateful and prejudiced you are, how paranoid, how childish you are, all these other negative traits that I have spotted and pointed out throughout reading your fucking shitty ass article. Your attitudes about humanity, and reconsider who and what you support. It can be revealing. Some things you support are very racist. Like what? Like what? Mention the examples. Like what? You must make better, more thoughtful choices. If you read my work, you know I've always believed that all white people are racist. Oh, God. How many contradictions can I? Oh, God. You say that all white people are racist, but at the same time, they can change themselves from being no longer racist. I mean, if white people can change themselves to be no longer racist, and have been shown to change themselves to be no longer racist, well then by default, objectively, not all white people are racist, in spite of what you just said right there. You're just fucking contradicting yourself, you stupid idiot. Conundrum says, yeah, America is dying because of millennial privilege. Yeah, precisely. So white people that are from Europe that came in during the 1980s are racist, according to her. I mean, yeah, apparently. So a Jewish person who came to America due to the sequel to a world-like war are racist, according to her, Dark Conservatarian. Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of Jewish people would count as white people or white passing. You must make better. Okay. So if a white looks at her in an attractive way, are racist, yeah, just stop reading this because you're going to have a stroke, bruh. I probably should, but I'm going to power through this. I'm already this far. I'm already over 3/4 of the way done. I don't say it to be ugly. Too late. You are fucking ugly. Physically, and your beliefs are just making you look all the more uglier. I say it because it's the truth. Except it's not. You're just fucking stupid is all. And the fact that you repeat that assertion doesn't make it any more truer. White people don't want to admit that they are racist. Nobody wants to say that they are of a bad trait. Of course. So they spend time and energy arguing and deflecting instead of learning about what racism is and investing in anti-racism work. Yeah, of course a person is going to defend themselves from false allegations of being bad in some way or another. Boo fucking who. White people admitting they are racist will be the only way they're able to decolonize their minds. Just admit it to yourselves. The rest of the world already knows it. Except they don't. I mean, I got a narrative here to sell to you, woman. Not all non-white folk, not all black people think that all white people are racist. Not all black people, not all people of color agree with you. So you acting that way is just fucking blind. You're fucking blinding and lying to yourself, quite frankly. Nothing you say or do can make any sense until you make this admission. Nothing you're saying is making any sense. So you're really one to speak on that front. In the same way, admitting you are an alcoholic means you're ready to address substance abuse problems. Admitting you are racist means you're ready to begin the anti-racism journey. Yeah, sure, if they actually were racist, but again, not all white people are racist. No one can help you until you finally admit you have a problem. While the impact of racism may be everyone's problem, the decision to be racist is an individual choice. One white and one non black person of color must decide on. Just say it, honey. Admit you are a racist and that you have been a part of the number one problem America has so that we can move forward. No, there's nothing to admit. Like I said, again and again, there's nothing to admit of what you're saying here. Remember, being racist is not necessarily your fault. Oh, fuck off. You know what? You contradicted yourself again. You said that one moment the decision to be racist isn't okay. One moment she says the decision to be racist is an individual choice. Then the next she's saying being racist is not inherently your fault. Contradiction much? I mean, if somebody is choosing to be racist, then it is their own fucking fault. Choosing to stay racist is. All eyes are on you now, white people. It took black people, Native Americans, Hispanic, Latino coalition, witches, Wiccans, children, Germans, Europeans, and darned New Zealanders from the other side of the world to get white people to see white people are racist and that black lives did not matter to them finally. You do know that a lot of Germans and Europeans are white, right? And New Zealanders. Now let's move forward. The only words that matter to me right now are the ones acknowledging white people are racist and those that denounce racism. Anything else is wasted energy, and y'all folks have wasted enough time and energy being in denial about this thing. You have wasted so much time and energy with this hateful, incoherent article that you've wrote here. Say it now and be proud. No. Wait. Say it now and be proud. Did she just literally say that somebody should say that they are racist and be proud? She just literally said that people should admit their racism and be proud of it. Wow. You're not even proofreading your article here. This is how fucking retarded this is. You cannot be anti-racist until you finally admit that you're a racist. Finally, the end of the fucking article. That's the end of that, and man, was that fucking cancerous. All right. Last article of the day, I'm going to be talking about at least this, because I have it on the thumbnail, talking about energy and the recent blizzard that happened. Okay, I have the paramedics on standby, says Conundrum. Well, thanks, Conundrum, but put down the cell phone, no need, as we got through it safe and sound. Conundrum says she was raised by parents that were racist. I don't really think so. I kind of doubt that she was raised by parents who were racist because, like she said there, if I was to give her the benefit of the doubt anyways, she said that she was friends with white people. And I got the implication that she did not always call them a bunch of racists. So she did not. So I don't think that she was raised racist by her parents. She was just taught herself to be of a racist mindset that all white people are racist. And the education system had failed her. Well, that I can probably agree well enough with. And the education system had failed her because the American school system had failed her, and the problem had no, and she probably had no father. I don't know. Maybe this is not a problem she should not be voicing. She should be focusing more on this pandemic and how people are dying because this pandemic has no prejudice at the Dark Conservatarian, right? JC Armitage says either this bitch can't keep a consistent and coherent narrative, or she made a bunch of Freudian slips when writing that thing. Maybe. Anyway, so moving on to the next subject of the night, and this is probably where I'm going to end it, folks, because that article took way too fucking long. But as you all might know, there is a bit of a blizzard that is running throughout all of the United States, really. The Midwest, It has even gone so far to hit the South real hard. Like, has anybody like been seeing or hearing about that big old fat pile up that happened down in Fort Worth, I believe it was Fort Worth, Texas, because of freezing rain, and not to mention all the blackouts and whatnot from electricity usage in response to the blizzard from down in Texas and other places as well. Yeah. Well, this article is relating to it. And I've been thinking for a little bit, like I saw some memes talking about this issue shared around on Facebook, talking about how the blackouts are evidence as to how that we do not have, as to how that solar panels being piled on with snow and wind turbines being frozen in place is evidence as to how that it cannot sustain us in a blizzard, that it cannot sustain us hardly at all, much less in a blizzard anyways. But here's an article that goes actually substantiating that claim for me. This is from Forbes. This blizzard exposes the perils of attempting to electrify everything. In other words, go green. As you can see, a picture of solar panels being piled on with snow. The massive blast of Siberia-like cold that is wreaking havoc across North America is proving that if we humans want to keep surviving frigid winters, we are going to have to keep burning natural gas and lots of it for decades to come. Precisely. Until we switch to nuclear energy, because really that's the only viable solution in response to a frigid blizzard like this is, well, nuclear power. Nuclear power is the coldest and, or excuse me, is the lowest carbon emitting and also the most efficient for energy production. And it's the most resistant to the cold. That cold reality, yeah, cold, no pun intended, reality contradicts the electrify everything scenario that's being promoted by climate change activists, politicians, and academics. They claim that to avert the possibility of catastrophic climate change, we must stop burning hydrocarbons and convert all of our transportation, residential, commercial, and industrial systems so that they are powered solely on electricity. With most of that juice coming, of course, from forests of wind turbines and oceans of solar panels, right? And there was actually a meme that was shared around on Facebook about this, saying that if we did have electric cars, there would be blackouts happening a whole lot more often because electricity usage would not be just used for lights, computers, heating. It would also be used to charge up my damn car, assuming if I was to have an electric car anyways. Conundrum says, of course, the writer of the previous article you read would think the snow is racist because it has white privilege. I don't know. Maybe she is that fucking stupid. But attempting to electrify everything would concentrate our energy risks on an electricity grid that is already breaking under the surge in demand caused by the crazy cold weather. Across America, countless people don't have electricity. I'm one of them. Our power here in central Austin went out at about 3 a.m. I am writing this under a blanket, have multiple layers of clothes on, and am nervously watching on laptop's battery indicator. Damn, son. Well, I salute you for powering through to get this article written. You've done a great service in journalism that I'm seeing thus far, Mr. Robert Bryce of Forbes. This blizzard proves that attempting to electrify everything would be the opposite of anti-fragile. Rather than make our networks and critical systems more resilient and less vulnerable to disruptions caused by extreme weather, bad actors, falling trees, or simple negligence, electrifying everything would concentrate our dependence on a single network, the electric grid, and in doing so, make nearly every aspect of our society prone to catastrophic failure if, or rather when, a widespread or extended blackout occurs. This blizzard proves that we have not been taking our energy security seriously enough. The concept of energy security has many aspects, but the most fundamental one is that we all have enough reliable and affordable energy of whatever type so that we don't freeze to death during cold spells like the one now wreaking havoc across the continent. This blizzard proves that during extreme weather winter, solar panels and wind turbines are of little or no value to the electric grid. Yeah, precisely. This blizzard proves that our natural gas grid is part of our critical infrastructure and that we shut it down at our peril. Yeah, that's why I say we should not be banning or even heavily restricting conventional energies like natural gas or even coal for that matter. I mean, I know that coal is being phased out of America's electricity, which I say good for them, as long as we get a equally efficient alternative, and it looks like that we are, that being natural gas. As long as we have something along those lines, we're good as far as I'm concerned, and we should not be banning it or heavily restricting it. The natural gas network is essential because it can deliver big surges in energy supplies during periods of peak demand. In January 2019, U.S. natural gas demand set a record of 145 billion cubic feet per day. That record will be smashed during this blizzard, and daily volumes will exceed 150 billion cubic feet. That is an enormous amount of energy. In fact, on the coldest days of winter, the amount of energy delivered by the gas grid is roughly 3 times as great as the energy consumed during the hottest days of the summer. During cold peak events like this one, the gas grid delivers about 80 billion cubic feet to homes and businesses. And energy, 80 billion cubic feet, is that per day? I don't know. To homes and businesses. In energy equivalent terms, that's roughly 83 trillion BTU, whatever BTU is. You're speaking a bunch of mumbo jumbo that I don't exactly understand. Or the energy output of about 1 terawatt of electric generation capacity for 24 hours. Put another way, to equal... Okay. Oh, God. Something just shot up my neck. Put another way, or the energy output of about 1 terawatt of electric generation capacity for 24 hours. Put another way, to equal the 80 BCFD of gas delivered during cold snaps, the U.S. would need an electric grid as large as all existing generation in the country, which is currently about 1.2 terawatts. Thanks to excellent geology, a century of gas production, and a fully developed transmission and distribution grid, the domestic natural gas sector can deliver surges of the fuel that are, in fact, life-saving. That is due in large part to the fact that we can store vast amounts of gas and only tiny quantities of electricity. In short, our electric grid simply cannot deliver the massive amounts of energy needed during the winter to keep us from freezing to death. That means we need to keep burning natural gas. If you prefer to rely on batteries, be my guest. No one in the chat, that's literally the name of the YouTube account, by the way, folks. No one says BTU is an acronym for British Thermal Unit. Okay. Conundrum also says in the chat, the electric company will make money due to electric cars, and electric companies will monopolize on this because the electric company can control that fuel for said electric cars. Yeah, as opposed to Conoco or ExxonMobil or anything else like that supplying gas to our fuel to our cars. Why don't people talk about that about electric cars? Yeah, Conundrum. I mean, if you switch to electric cars, you're just going to end up centralizing the providers of, the energy needed to run those cars more so. You're going to centralize it more. Oh, excuse me. I felt a bit of a sneeze going on there. It's essential to note that the blizzard and blackouts that are paralyzing the country are occurring at roughly the same time that some of America's most famous activists and politicians are saying we should quit using all hydrocarbons, and dozens of cities across the country are imposing bans on the use of natural gas. What the fuck? Dozens of cities across the country are imposing bans on the use of natural gas? Well, how the fuck are they getting their electricity? Are they relying on neighboring cities to provide their electricity, or are they literally just going all off of wind turbines and solar panels? You're just shooting yourselves in the foot at that point. Or are they already going to nuclear energy? I mean, if you're going to nuclear energy, if you're banning natural gas as an alternative to nuclear energy, well then you at least have the effectiveness to keep your energy keep on flowing with nuclear energy as opposed to natural gas. But ethically, I would still disagree with that ban. On January 22nd, Bill McKibben, the founder of 350.org and arguably America's most famous environmentalist, published an article in the New Yorker in which he said if there is a basic rule of thumb for dealing with the climate crisis, it would be stop burning things, including natural gas. McKibben says we should shift our energy needs to solar and wind energy. 6 days later, on January 28, in his State of the City address, Mayor Bill de Blasio declared that New York City will renounce fossil fuels fully and ban fossil fuel connections in the city by the end of this decade, literally ensuring that our only choice is renewable energy. Wow. So you're going to ban gas cars. I guess I'm not driving to New York, folks. Not even visiting. As I showed in a report last year for the Foundation for Research on Equal Opportunity, dozens of communities in California have banned or restricted the use of natural gas. According to the Sierra Club, 42 California communities have now imposed bans. What a bunch of fucking hippies. So has the city of Seattle. In Massachusetts, about a dozen towns have partnered with the Rocky Mountain Institute, which recently got a $10 million grant from the Bezos Earth Fund. Jeff Bezos is a big greenie, apparently, to advocate for the right to ban the use of natural gas in homes and commercial buildings. You don't have the right to ban something. You're taking away other people's rights when you ban something. Saying that you have the right to take away other people's rights is kind of an oxymoron, especially when you're talking about innocent people. In addition to being bad for energy security, these bans are a form of regressive tax on the poor and the middle class because they compel consumers to use electricity, which costs 4 times more than natural gas on an energy equivalent basis. Despite these very cold facts, it is certain that the efforts to ban natural gas and electricity, everything will continue. Despite these very cold facts, it is certain that the efforts to ban natural gas and electrify everything will continue. My bad. I misread that for a second there. I am pro-electricity and electrification. Over the past year, I published a book, A Question of Power, Electricity and the Wealth of Nations, and co-produced a documentary, Juice, How Electricity Explains the World, that spotlights electricity and why we need many terawatts of new generation capacity to bring the 3 billion people in the world who are now living in energy poverty out of the dark and into the bright lights of modernity. But more than being pro-electricity, I am pro-human. The ongoing blizzard is proving our vulnerability to extreme weather events, and it is showing that we can't rely on electricity alone. Events like the September 11 attacks, Superstorm Sandy, and the coronavirus prove that we need to make our... Okay, bit of a typo there on your part, Mr. Bryce. And the coronavirus proved that we need to make our society more resilient to threats of all kinds. A robust natural gas grid helps our resilience. Electrifying everything will do the opposite. End of article. Yeah, I say that we do need to make a change to our society so that it is more resilient. But I'd say let's do that through the private sector, preferably. Excuse me. So, end of article, folks. Okay, remove that. And can I pull? Why can't I? I think my mouse is starting to give on me. I think I am literally needing to buy myself a new mouse here sometime soon, folks. But anyway, get caught up on the chat here, and then I'm gonna go away because this stream has already went long enough. Conundrum says, don't get me started with nuclear energy because I know what the result of nuclear energy based on the workers that worked in nuclear power plants. Oh. Are you anti-nuclear energy, Conundrum? Because I personally understand the high risks of nuclear energy. I mean, it's a conversation worth happening because worth having, excuse me, because if you end up fucking up in the process of the nuclear energy, then there's a possibility that you get to irradiating the immediate vicinity, Chernobyl. I'm not seeing a response here yet, folks, in case you're wondering. Uh, Conundrum says, yeah, I am highly anti-nuclear energy due to losing a family member. Well, I'm sorry for that loss, Conundrum, but I think alternatively, you should really be more like pro safety measures rather than anti-nuclear energy. Because I think that there are too many pros to nuclear energy to stop it because of not mean to downplay or anything like that. I find the pros of nuclear energy and the cleanliness of it specifically. I mean, if we are really to believe that climate change is real, then that would be one pro to nuclear energy, is it being like cleaner and the processing of that energy. But all the same, that being one of the pros, and also a whole bunch of others, I think that the pros of nuclear energy are just too various to be banning it or whatever outright because of the handful of bad incidents that happened because of it. I mean, no offense, Conundrum, but that's just my honest opinion right there. If anything, I would advocate for heavier safety regulations in regards of any person out there who becomes a risk of being irradiated and dying from the nuclear isotopes or whatever else have you. But all the same. JC Armitage says, the only part about nuclear I'd oppose is the state having a monopoly on it. Yeah, I can agree enough. Conundrum says, I personally think that the workers' safety and their medical plans are very lax and they should be enforced. Perhaps. I mean, I do consider myself a libertarian, everybody, but I say this plenty of times. If, big fat if, government does exist, I do believe that safety regulations can be argued to be one of the essentials of government, so as to prevent cases that could fall under manslaughter from happening. Anyway, I guess that's where I'll leave it. Fuck Marley K and her rhetoric about how all white people are racist. Emphasis on not all white people are racist, and until that you can actually provide the evidence that even a majority of white people, more importantly, all white people hold a belief or opinion that is racist against non-white people. Until you can prove that, well, then you just have no evidence for your all white people are racist bullshit. And I say, yeah, to heck with turning our entire electricity grid green, because as this blizzard is showing, we do not have the infrastructure to be able to sustain a green electric grid. That relies completely on solar and fucking wind. And green energy activists, they even have gripes against nuclear power. Even though nuclear power would be their most efficient and their most cleanest alternatives to natural gas, coal, and even solar and wind. Anyway. That's all I have for you folks. I'm the Dark Conservatarian, and if you all have stuck around this long, don't forget to hit that like button. And again, just to remind everybody, I will not have any live streams happening this Friday or this Sunday because I have a bit of a business trip to get to. But after this upcoming weekend, I'll be going back to the normal schedule. News streams every Tuesday and Fridays at 7:30 p.m. as the schedule shows right here. And then the Sunday streams on my secondary channel, the Dark Sanctum. Anyway, one last check the chat. Nothing more. Anyway, see y'all later. Have a good night. Stay warm.